In this video, I'm going to be walking you through the exact process that I utilize to ensure that every day and every week is as productive as possible as a multi-millionaire business owner. And by the end of this video, you'll be able to copy this exact process and install it directly into your business. And this is something that I've been using for the last 8 years in a row. So it's something that I've found that has worked very, very well. And with that being said, let's go ahead and dive right into the process now. Now, this process is something that I call Smart Day, Smart Week. I do have a copy of this template for you. If you go in the description below and you want to download the template and follow along with the rest of the video, you can go ahead and do that now. But with that being said, when we're looking at Smart Day, Smart Week, the essence of this is this: never start your day until you've finished your day, which essentially is plan the day before the day begins. And we're going to be walking through this together on exactly how I go through this and some nuances with this that, again, I've been utilizing for the last 8 years. And so let's start with Smart Day. When we're talking about Smart Day, Smart Week, Smart Day, as you would guess, is something you do daily. And when you're doing this, I recommend that you're either doing this like, pen and paper, whether you're doing this in your journal, or if you're utilizing just a doc just like this on your computer, that you just have it in the same place over and over again so that you could review previous Smart Days or review previous Smart Weeks that you do. And so when we're looking at the Smart Day process, this is typically going to take you anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Now, honestly, it takes me only about 10 to 15 minutes on a daily basis, and I can cruise through this pretty quickly because it's a very routine habit for me. And so when you're first starting this, I'm going to walk you through just a couple of examples. So I'm starting my Smart Day and let's say I'm utilizing this doc, and I'm going to put, whatever today's date, September 25th, at filming this video. So September 25th, I'm going to look at my victories and attitude of gratitude. And that's how I start my Smart Day. And so I'm going to look at that. And for me, I do my Smart Day in the morning time. So I do this as one of the first things that I do when I wake up in the morning is I go through this. And so I'll sit there and I'll be, as I have right now, my coffee, I'll be drinking my first coffee of the day, going through this exercise. So I'll be thinking about the day before, what were the wins and what are areas of gratitude that I have? And, I'll think about it now as like, okay, well, yesterday we made some changes at one of our companies, the Plant Guy, on our ads. And, we've already seen a couple purchases come through from the changes that we made immediately. So that's a win. Another win, we hired a new sales team member at one of our other companies. That's a big win. That's going to help us generate more revenue. Another win is we just recently did with our cleaning company, this gift card promo campaign had never been done before outside of just on a Black Friday special. And we were able to collect an additional $70,000 in revenue over the last week. And yesterday was the last day of that campaign, which is super cool. So again, what am I doing? I'm just looking at some wins. We all know, and as a business owner, as well as I do, that we deal with a lot of crap every day. And so as we go into our Smart Day exercise, we want to recognize what went well, what are some victories, what are some wins, what are some areas to be grateful for. And so that's how I start this, to be in a positive state of mind, to go into this exercise. And now that I finished that, I check off my victories and attitude of gratitude. My next thing that I'm going to do is going to be going over the KPI and target review. And that is something that is going to be different for every business owner and every individual. So for me on this, I have a portfolio of companies. So I have a lot of different metrics that I have to look at, but there's only certain ones that I'm looking at every single day. One of the companies that is in my portfolio is called the Plant Guy. And our partner, Matthew, he on a day-to-day basis is very involved in sales. And so when he's doing this on a daily basis, one of the things that he's looking at is, okay, on the sales side would be to see, because he's also marketing and sales. So maybe he's looking at total leads generated. What was that number yesterday? And then that day before as well. Well, how many, new estimates got sent? What was the count for those? Maybe another one that he's looking at for what he's specifically focused on is new cash collected. And where there is a lot more metrics that you could be tracking, obviously, this daily review is really just looking at what are the most critical ones that you're looking at every single day. That's what you want to focus on here. And there's another video on my YouTube that you can go to on how to create your company scorecard, which talks you through how to set up, the KPIs, the key performance indicators that you're going to be tracking for your business. And that can help lead into what you're actually looking at on a day-to-day basis for your smart day. What you don't want to do, when I've talked to people that try to implement this, is they get overwhelmed and they think for their company, they're like, well, every day I'm looking at, how many leads came in, what lead source they came from, what I spent on ads, what our customer acquisition cost was yesterday, sales were made, cash collected, how many people were fulfilled on yesterday for our product or service. Like, this isn't the time to look at every metric in your entire company. That's not what your daily review is. It's the most important ones that you are focusing on right now, which is typically going to be 3 to 5 at most, that you want to be looking at every day, because what you measure, you can manage, and what you manage improves. And so that's the goal with the beginning here on the KPI target review. And part of the reason that you do that is one of the first things in this exercise is looking at, okay, if your cash collected goal is to be collecting, let's say $10,000 every day or $20,000 every day, and you look at every day what you're collecting, you're going to identify the trend of you either doing that or not doing that. And then the thing that's going to help is ask yourself questions like, okay, well, if my goal is $10,000 in cash collected yesterday, I only collected 8. What do I need to do today to get us on track to actually collect the right amount of money that we need to for our goal? That is what will lead you through the next part of your smart day exercise. And so that, that's looking at, okay, every day there's a lot of things that come up. As a business owner, we're professional firefighters. It can feel like at times where those reactions are going to, where you're going to have to react to things during the day. The better you plan out your day, the less you're going to feel like you're stuck in that reactive mode. And so that's what we're trying to do in this. And so the next thing that we're looking at here is establishing our key action items for the day. And you can't have a to-do list that has 20 items on it, because if you put everything is important and those 20 items are all important, that means nothing's really important, because you're not going to get 20 things done in the day anyways. And so what we want to do is put together an action list of the things that must be done before the day is over. And then, more importantly, is planning your calendar for that. So if like, let's say, for example, let's just take a couple examples on this. I'll just drop them down here. So if I know that, my cash collected goal is, 10K a day cash collected, the last 2 or 3 days in a row, it's been, we've collected between 5 and 7K a day. Okay, well, that's a problem. We're not hitting our target. So one of the action items that I'm probably going to do, or maybe a couple of them if my main focus is sales in this scenario, is, one of my number one priorities that I'm going to put to schedule time is I'm going to connect with sales team and identify maybe what is going on in these conversations that's maybe we're not closing at the rate that we're expecting. Connect the sales team and identify the gap in our sales and help coach to improve. And so that could be connecting with the team, figuring out what's going on. How are we going to close this gap? How do we get to 10K? How do we get to 10K? Another one could be, okay, well, I'm going to do that. That's one of my other items. And, then the other thing that I might do if I'm, noticing this trend over a few days of not hitting our numbers is, I'm going to go and look at marketing. So meet with marketing agency that's running our ads, identify how we can increase our leads generated. I'm just making things up, guys. What I'm trying to do with these is give you ideas of like how you're going to go through this and then plan. All of the other things that come up in the day aren't as important as hitting the target that you're setting for yourself. So if I'm not hitting this 10K a day cash collected, I'm at 5 to 7, I need to figure out who are the people on my team that are accountable for collecting this money and figure out what's causing them not to be able to collect it. And maybe it's just a sales and coaching thing. Maybe it's I need to listen to more of their sales calls and see what they're saying that's causing them not to make enough sales. Maybe it's, okay, I need to just get with marketing because let's say we uncover out of this conversation, you meet with sales and you meet with marketing and you identify, okay, well, on average, we need 5 sales a day at 2K a sale to achieve 10K a day in revenue. I wouldn't be putting this on this actual doc. This is more for you guys to download, and then you could just literally put this on a Google Sheet and your Google Drive and just put the today's date and then just be using this as a reference guide to be answering these on your Google Doc. So let's say, we're 5 sales a day is what we need, and we need 2K a sale to achieve 10K a day in revenue. Well, if we're, let's say just for round numbers, we're hitting, 8K a day or 4 sales, that's what we're currently hitting. So we need to go figure out, again, that's why we're meeting with marketing. Do we have the leads? If it takes, let's say, it's 20 leads for 1 sale and we're only getting 80 leads a day, and I'm just making these numbers up. But 20 leads for 1 sale on 80 leads a day, one of 2 things would have to happen. This is what the conversation you begin to start having with yourself when you're reviewing for the next day. You either need to increase conversion rate of sales from the sales team to close more than, 1 sale for every 20, or you need to increase the amount of leads. Ideally, we want to do both. We want to increase conversion, and at the same time, we want to increase our leads. So as I'm going through this, because those were the KPIs that I'm paying attention to, that's going to dictate the things that I'm putting on my calendar for the day and the plan that I'm putting together. So again, I'm just making up hypothetical scenarios and examples to go out there and attack. So when you finish your SMART day, you've went through your victories, your attitude of gratitude, take inventory of those. You look at the most important numbers that you're paying attention to in your business on a daily basis. Then you put together your plan for the day of what are those 3 to 6 things that must get done today to keep our KPIs on track, or to keep me on track with what my goals are for the business. And then your final settle out of the SMART day exercise is then planning your calendar for the day. So that's, you finish the day, you already should, once we go through SMART week, you'll see what I mean by this, but you already should have at this point scheduled out most of your week. On the daily review, you're identifying what's most important that day. Then you want to put in your calendar, when are you going to spend that hour with sales, or when are you going to spend that hour with marketing to work through those issues, or when are you going to block out an hour to review sales calls so you can, have a coaching conversation with your team. Those are the things you're going to then put on your calendar so that you're able to get those main 3 to 6 action items done for the day. And that is, in a nutshell, SMART day. Now, same thing. We're circling back here now to SMART week. So never start your day until you finish your week. Same thing. Again, never finish your day until you finish your day. Same thing for the week. What are the major changes for SMART week? I'm not going to hit as hard on a couple of these because they're the same as in SMART day, but this is typically planned for about 30 to 45 minutes to go through this, because you're going to be doing more review and more thinking time. And I recommend doing this either at the beginning of the week or the end of, sometime on Sunday. For me, Sundays work good for me. I do this on Sunday mornings when, the day is very calm and I can go through this, versus on Monday morning when there's like chaos happening already, jumping into the day. I just like to have that quiet time. So plan for 30 to 45 minutes to block this out. Again, you go through your victories and attitude of gratitude. That's how you start. Then you go through your KPI reviews. Sound familiar? Again, you're reviewing the numbers, but this time the only change is you're looking at the previous week. So you're looking at, from last week, how did I do? So if for the last, 5 business days of the week, again, let's go back to that 10K a day cash collected target. Did we collect 50K for the week? Because that would be, 10K a day if we're just counting business days, Monday through Friday. Did we do that? If not, okay, well, that's going to lead you into the next things to plan out the upcoming week. But that's what you're going to be looking at, again, is the KPIs over the week. The other add-on to this, and if you aren't doing this, you should be, is looking at your goals for that quarter. Your rocks is what our company calls them, but your projects or your goals for that quarter. So this is where you're looking and saying, okay, at time of recording of this video, it's September 25th. We're about to start quarter 4. There's new goals being set right now for each of our companies, and there's new projects and goals that I'm establishing for myself for this upcoming quarter. And so when I establish those goals, I'm then going to be on a weekly basis reviewing my progress towards hitting those goals over that next quarter or those next 90 days. And so when I'm doing that, this is allowing me to have a pulse every week on, am I on track to hit my goals that I set at the beginning of the quarter? Or am I on track to, get those projects done? And this review is what allows you to consistently move projects and move your company along, while most people, what they do is they just react to the nonsense of every day and shoot by the hip every day. They don't plan. Like, people don't take time to plan. And if you do that, you're not going to grow the business to where you really want it to go. You have to take this serious. And so looking at how are you doing? Are you on track or off track? Then I have just some questions that, go into the review process on this weekly think time. And these questions look like this. And these questions are meant to bring additional thoughts out of your brain to plan for this upcoming week. So based on where I am now and where I'm wanting to be at the end of the quarter, what must happen to stay on track for these goals? If it's a cash collected goal, if it's maybe it's a new hire goal, maybe it's implementing a new CRM, what are the things that need to happen to make sure that that is efficiently, done or accomplished by the end of this quarter? Other questions you could ask yourself as you're going through this: what must be true for me to reach my successful outcome to come true at the end of this quarter? Again, you're just trying to get thoughts being provoked from this. I am going to scroll down. There's a couple other things that in the Smart Week process that you could do that'll help you with coming up with your action items for the upcoming week. So one of the things you could do is rate your previous week. On a scale of 1 to 10, how did the last week go? And you're looking at this through the filter of, your KPIs that you have set, your goals that you have set. Okay, well, if last week was a 6, what needs to happen this upcoming week to make this upcoming week a 10? What all would need to be true for this upcoming week to have been a 10 out of 10? Great. What are things that you're procrastinating on right now that needs to get done but haven't been done? Is this something you need to delegate, or is this something that I just need to put the frickin' thing in my calendar and just get it done? So these are just some questions. Now we've asked ourselves these questions. We've taken time to either write this out in our notebook or to type this out on our computer. Now what you need to do is plan your week. Map out the upcoming week to the best of your ability based off of what are the critical 3 to 6 things that you must get accomplished this upcoming week that are going to be the biggest needle movers for your business based off of the questions that you answered to yourself from above here and below here, and using those as your filter for the things that you put on your calendar. And another key thing that I recommend, and this is just more of the work-life integration side of calendar management and planning, putting a successful smart day, smart week together. I'll put on my calendar my personal stuff first. So like during my smart week, I'll put my personal stuff on the calendar. So my personal training sessions with my trainer, I have those on the calendar. The days that I'm going to do cardio and the times, I just put those on the calendar so they're pre-booked. The date night with me and my fiance, if we're going to go do something that week, I put that on the calendar. If we're going to do something with our friends, that's already pre-scheduled, that's on the calendar. All of those things are on the calendar. Now I can go and fill it up with all the business stuff and the work things that I want to or need to do. And so you build your calendar and then you work your calendar. You just work the plan that you put in place. That's the way that to get the most out of this is, having this time to review and reflect and journal or make the notes on your computer, and then planning out your week and then executing on the plan that you put together for your week. As we all know, as business owners, there is crap that comes up and you will still have to deal with crap from time to time. But the more you turn this into a habit to review and plan ahead, the more you run the day versus the day running you, which is the whole goal of this exercise. And by the way, if you're looking for more resources like this and identifying more ways of how you can turn your business into this high profit, self-managing company, you can go ahead and click the link in the description below to learn a little bit more about our Scale with Pros Mastery program, which is essentially how, myself and my team install all of our systems into companies to help them scale up and create that, again, self-managing high profit company. So with that being said, go ahead and click the link below and we'll see you in the next video.